We have to tune resonance of individuals, what I call the somatic practices, Silva method, manifestation practice, neuroscience, and hormones, psyche development models, Jungian psychology, the hero's journey. There are archetypes that go beyond this. As a religious studies professional, integrating the parables to support people in different frameworks of life as archetypes and not as dogmatic rules. Spiral dynamics, the 8 circuit consciousness model. Then we have Women Who Run with the Wolves and Clarissa Pinkola Estes. So this is like ethnoclinical Jungian psychology. This is one of many stories about the process of re-engaging with the intuition. Tuning the resonance of collectives, the culture building, diversity, equity, and inclusion, which I've been doing for about 10 years. I've consulted for Apple, I've consulted for HubSpot, consulted also global inclusion markers, internalized characteristics of white supremacy culture. So then this like tunes to like individuals, but it's also within this DEI framework. So urgency, for instance, perfectionism, binary thinking, these are all like the internal colonization frameworks. So in the same way that like DEI and understanding systems of oppression is connected to internalized characteristics of white supremacy culture, we might have something like the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and then the inner development goals that were designed by a bunch of organizations coming together and saying, hey, you're going to need these to even be able to conceptualize this into like a lived framework, right? You have to have this on the inside to be able to do that on the outside. The tailoring of the intake, assessment, tracking, analytics. I have an AI video conferencing DEI performance analysis tool to target business leader. They want personal development and they want their groups to work well. DEI and wellness are actually two groups within corporate spaces that work closely cross-functionally. The research is showing that if you have better DEI, you have better fiscal gain because you have better innovation and you have better retention. There's already a case in point for wanting something that brings these two things within that industry and demographic. And psychological assessment, organizational psychology, and psychometric testing, Bowen's emotional nuclear systems theory, where you see how stress moves through systems and what are the psychological like patterns that occur in groups. So one of the things that, as well, that's on the rise right now in AI is psychometric testing for hiring. So now they know that we can actually hire just way better across the line if we have an AI with psychometric testing integrated framework for our practice. Utilizing that throughout the employee life cycle as well, like with performance. Right now, it's still who you know, and it's creating systems that are biased. Community accompaniment features. Market research shows people want to stay connected. So peer-to-peer path, mentorship path, also self-accompaniment can play with the inner parts, inner child, but also like parts therapy, archetypes. Maybe you end up with multiple characters that are you, that you're playing against or with, and you can see what level of cohesion you have within your internal part. Then this peer-to-peer path, which is actually with other people based on many things. Like, of course, you can use human design, find comparative resonance with folks. Of course, we will have the sound current, like harmonic wave resequencing, solfeggio, that we would match with the individual. So let's say that we have like, okay, explore as an aspect of the app, and we want to explore your energy anatomy. So we take something like chakras, for instance, and we say, hey, of course, the chakras are associated with different things. There's also affirmation-based statements that tune to the chakras, like I understand as a crown and I am as the root. There's also crystals that correspond to them. There's also frequencies that correspond to them. So you can actually have an assessment be, how do I feel, talk, or see about money or whatever my framework is? And then I can rate based on the AI looking at your voice cadence, whether or not you really resonate with each of the statements to determine which chakra is out of balance. Then we match the solfeggio frequency to the thing that's out of balance. And we give you tons of things, whether it's mudras, whether it's yoga, whether it's different energetic practices, whether it's foods or chants, all based on what is out of order. And to do the same thing again within 5 elements qigong, within like the meridian-based system, and so on and so forth. A little bit of the Chinese organ hour clock. I was teaching at Lund University. There was a woman and she was talking about how she has this pain. And I said to her, oh, do you wake up at 3 a.m.? And she said, yes. I said, oh, this is the lung point. It's connected to grief. Is there anything? And then she just started crying. This is like 5 elements, like understanding that meridian points connect to organs, which connect to times, which connect to emotions, And somewhere along that line, you can figure out what is the pulse point for the healing. You have biorhythms, which are dependent on time of birth, 23 to 28-day cycles, your physical, emotional, and mental highs and lows within vocabulary and name analysis, like greetings, whomever, like as soon as they see them, will say, hey, like based on your name, it seems like you could be dealing with some of these kind of things. Into the larger model, the in real life element.
One of the aspects of resonance tunes is to live out your day, and you can see what your range of decisions could have been had you chosen something else. An element of having people who tune resonance come into your field, and you see how your field of possibility expands. There's more ease of access. And then that field expansion lessens as you come out of contact. If you don't make new choices, if you don't set new neural pathways, there isn't as much ease of engaging alternative impacts.